Alright, let's get this started. Hey guys, how's it going? It's episode 10! Time for the Type 64. Now I know in the last two videos I said that I was going to do the Panzer IV hydrostat. But the only videos that I could find were 9.3 and earlier. And because our client is 9.4, I can't play them. So I don't have any videos, I don't have any replays to show you guys for the Panzer IV hydrostat. So I can't do it. So until I get some, we're going to have to wait. So what does that mean? It means we're going to do the Type 64, which is Chinese Tier 6 Premium Scout Tank. Now, I want to make a statement here. I didn't get my video out yesterday. Sorry. I made it, and then I had a Deathwatch RP that I forgot about that I had to do. So I didn't get it uploaded. And then I didn't remember until this morning. So that's on me. Sorry, guys. Either way, that'll go up then today, right about the same time this video goes up. So you guys will still have two videos. You'll have the M41 Walker Bulldog, which was yesterday's video. And then today's is, of course, the Type 64. I may actually redo the M41 if it turns out to be shit. I was in kind of a hurry, as you can imagine, and so when I'm in a hurry, I tend to talk really fast, as you probably noticed from my earlier videos, which means I say a lot of stuff and it doesn't always come through. So I've been trying to slow down and make sure that my words are more deliberate, and that's better, but if I still get excited, then I start talking really fast and then you can't understand me and you know how that goes. So, if you see a repost of the M41, you'll know that was because I thought my original one was garbage and I'm making a new one. So, since it's a light tank, we're going to do kind of our standard format. So, for light tanks. So we have standard game, kind of boring. Well, not boring, but not ace tanker worthy. Then scout style game. Then epic game. And believe me, the third one, as always, is epic. Alright, I don't think I have anything else to say. Gun has decent rate of fire and penetration. Oh, no, there's one thing I want to mention, and this will come into play later, which is that the tank itself has one major flaw, and that's that it really just doesn't have enough ammunition to go a full 15 minutes. It really doesn't. If you're on a roll and you're firing consistently, you run out of ammo halfway through the battle. 7 minutes in, you're dry. And part of the problem that causes then is it's really, really hard to carry a team in a Type 64. You almost can't do it. It's certainly possible, but it's very, very unlikely. I think the gun averages somewhere around 100 damage, and I think it carries around 36 ammunition. So the most damage you're ever going to do, on average, is 3,600. That's not including fires and everything else. But 3,600 damage really isn't enough to carry a team. I mean, let's put it this way. You're a Tier 6 scout. If you get stuck in a Tier 8 or Tier 9 battle, that's like 2 Tiger 2s and a scout tank. And you're done. 3 tanks, you get to full kill, and you're done. You don't get to do anything else. And 3,600 damage is a lot of damage, sure. But on those higher tiers, they have so many hit points. Let's put this in perspective here. A mouse at tier 10, or a Moz, I guess I should say, the Moz has 3,000 hit points. If you can only do 3,600 hit points, you get to kill 1 tank. Congratulations, you killed a Moz. So that's part of the big problem of the Type 64. Other than that, the penetration isn't stellar either. So you see players have a pretty severe balance between APCR rounds and AP rounds, some approaching actually a 50-50 mix. And then some will even go just all APCR if they know they can make enough money. But enough about the tank. You guys are here for the replays. I like doing the replays. Let's get into the replays. So if I can figure out my right key presses, we will go into the replay. Alright, so this first battle we have here is, and there might be some reverberation because I didn't plug my headphones in. Let's go. This first battle, when you slow it down to 1 time speed, is an assault battle on Erlenberg from a EU player who goes by Gadman. Now this is a very interesting week or day today in that we actually have 2 NA players in our featured replays, which I'm very excited about. So that will be excellent. So what we see Gadman here doing is he's trying to take a very forward position to try and spot. Now I don't really like this spot, and the reason for that is that if you look at this angle here, which is where he's looking, he's only partially covered by the grass. Now what that means is that that grass isn't actually doing him any cover favors. So if he were back, not very much, right? If he's back just a tad bit more sitting in the grass, he'll actually get the camo benefit from the cover in addition to the camo netting and the fact that he's a light tank. So this right here, not a great start to a battle. But we'll see what he gets spotted with those binoculars here in just a bit. I know, this is riveting television. Now from the chat, it would appear that we have a a native Frenchman. And actually, if you look at the side of the tank too, you'll notice French flag. Alright, so we've got a Tiger P spotted. Let's get some damage in. Takes a shot at the Tiger P, puts it in. Takes a shot at the IS, misses. Takes a shot at the IS, manages to put one in. Now looking, he's got 3 shots, it's 36. Looks like about 45 rounds of ammunition. So that's a little bit more. It's somewhere around 4,500 from what we were talking about earlier. Still, it's, as far as potential damage goes, it's pretty small. And every shot you miss is another 100 damage off. So he's going to try and take this bush here, take the hill. That T-29 is really low. He must have gotten hit by artillery or something. So he's going to look for a shot, maybe peek over, see if he can get the kill. Oh, there's a T-34. Artillery comes in on that T-29, but doesn't manage to do any damage. This is a perfect shot to peek over and take it. Take your shot. And he doesn't take the shot. That's unfortunate. Maybe he was looking for spots, but I think that would have been a beautiful time to get a kill and a little bit of extra damage. So he's just trying to spot anybody coming over the ridgeline. It doesn't look like any of their tanks moved into their usual positions there by that house, which means these scouts basically owned this area. What it also means is that they have left artillery completely undefended. And so the 12T and Gadman and his Type 64 are going to go after artillery. I think this is an excellent play right now, because where they've positioned themselves, artillery is completely open, and if they can take artillery out, that is a huge, an absolutely massive loss for the team. So they're going to take out the GW Panther. Looked like he was on fire from the 12T, but the Type 64 stole the kill at 2 hit points. He's got put 2 rounds into the FV207. Gonna put a 3rd. Artie comes in and misses. He's gonna get a 4th for the kill. So 677 hits. He's doing pretty good. 2 artillery down, or out of 3. And now he's moving towards the back of the map. He's capping a little bit here to try and put pressure on the team to kind of fall back towards cap, which is a really smart play as long as he makes sure he leaves cap once the assault begins. A light tank like him isn't able to hold, and of course you know my position on capping for winning. I don't mind capping for putting pressure on, especially on a light scout tank like this that just went and took out artillery. Alright, the 12T goes down to artillery, so now it's just him versus a whole bunch of tanks. Now would be the time to leave. The T-29 calling a premature GG. Pretty early. He's going to try and get in on that artillery, but he's so well protected between that T-43 and that IS and the Borsig on the hill. It would basically be a suicide run, and a scout tank is so much more beneficial to a team if you don't just throw your life away. So he's going to try and get in here and put some damage on the IS, gets a shot in there, puts another shot, takes a big hit from the IS, It looks like the IS is actually using the 250 to 100 millimeter, which is very fortuitous, because otherwise he would totally be dead. Bounces a couple of shells, bounces another one, and finally gets it in. One of the things I love about the IS tank is just how bouncy that armor can be. It's incredibly bouncy. Even though the armor isn't all that actually stellar between the sloping and the shape of the tank, you just bounce all day, every day. So while Gadman has been on this flank cleaning up, finally killed the IS, bounces off the T-43, bounces again off the T-43, dodges a shell, and finally puts the T-43 out of his misery. Now he's going for artillery. He's killed two. Let's see if he can't get that third one and get a, what is that, Pascucci's? So let's see. Shot. He's going to come in here. Hits him. And stolen by artillery. That dirty, dirty artillery player. Stole the medal from him for the final kill. What a dick artillery player. Shame on him. Should have let him get the Pascucci's. He was dead no matter what. But you had to steal that kill. Frankly, the T-64 deserved the Pascucci's. So I'm going to award it to him. I know that I don't have the power to do any of that, but I don't care. Gadman, congratulations. You get a Pascucci's medal. I'm sure you have a ton of them. All right. So game number one, like I said, as we always start off with, very, very standard play. Opens up, takes advantage of an excellent situation, goes, takes down artillery, which is phenomenal, caps to put pressure on the team, and then leaves when he realizes that now is not a good time to stay. I really like his decision making. I think that there's a lot of options that you can do to put pressure on a team. Capping is one of them, but you have to be careful. You basically have to have the perfect opportunity to cap, and he did. But this is something that you can't really have consistently, where the ability to cap is oftentimes foiled by the idea that you have tanks overwatching, right? If that Borsig, for example, had been, instead of up on the hill where it had been back closer to artillery and then IS, there's no way in a million years that you could have put cap pressure on there, because that Borsig could have easily just shot you off of it. And he's got so much damage that you take a hit like that and you're basically dead if he doesn't one-shot you. All right. Game number one in the bag. Gadman, congratulations. You did a good job. It's a good win. Let me bring up the next battle. Our battle number two. Battle number two, game number two, is an encounter battle on Prohorovka. Again, notes are over here, so if I keep looking over that way, it's because I'm checking out notes. This is computer screen, notes, you guys. This is one of our first NA battles that we've had in a long time, at least since I've been recording. This is by a player by the name of Vetroxity in his Type 64, because that's our theme of the day. An encounter battle on Prokhorovka, in case you missed it. Since the battle's loading up, I think we're just going to jump on in. And then we'll talk about it as we go. You ready? Because I am. All right. So, we're going to skip through this. Now, here we have Vetroxity in his Type 64 in a Tier 8 battle. So, rather than camo, netting, and binoculars, he has a build-out for damage. Now, you'll notice he's got 2 marks of excellence on this tank, which means he's a very consistent damage dealer. And he's got the premium food consumable, which gives plus 5% to all crew skills. And there's a good chance then, considering what else he's got, that he's got vertical stabilizers if it can take it, possibly coated optics, probably a few crew skills. This tank is definitely souped up. So he's making his first pass to try and spot anyone in the middle. And now he's going to try and just deal some damage. And lo and behold, that T-37 just comes and rams into him. So I'm going to see this again, because I looked at this before, and it's really, really clear that that T-37 is totally at fault. So I'm going to go to free camera. We can see the T-37 over there. He's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. He's not paying attention. 64 stops. It's clearly stopped. Bam. I don't know what that T-37 is thinking. And look at that. 3 stars. Dude really should know better. You'll see that that T-37 being a pain in the ass to Atrocity in his Type 64 is a recurring theme. I don't know what he was smoking this particular day, but he's got some fucking problems. So, T-37 runs into the Type 64. Looks like he did about 14 damage. But Atrocity, it's just a simple mistake. He's not worried about it. Instead, he's going to spot an enemy Type 37 and put a couple of rounds into his turret. 1, 2. Then he's going to get out before he takes any damage from that T-29 or that Churchill 7. Now, playing this middle, I talked about this yesterday with the M41 Bulldog. And playing this particular map, you end up dividing the map between the E and F lines. And it turns into a pretty massive stalemate until one team can make a play, either through superior play, that T-37 cutting him off again, either through superior play or through stupid mistakes by the other team. That's basically the only thing that can prevent the stalemate from just going all the way to 15 minutes. Is basically it's who blinks first. You'll see right now, looking at where everything is, right? We've got the tanks over here, we've got tanks over here, a tank down here, and nothing in the middle. And I'm sure it's the same on the other side. You've got tanks over here, keeps resetting my mouth, tanks over here, maybe a tank here too, and nothing in the middle. And that's just a function of how the map is designed. The giant ridge in the middle means you can't shoot from one end of the map to the other very easily. So, but it's also steep enough where most tanks don't have enough gun depression to get over and shoot without exposing their lower plate. So in the end, it becomes really, really boring. Either way, this A44 is trying to make a move, trying to do something, but with these scouts in the middle, he's just getting lit up time and time again. Now that T-37, who's been such a pain before, is going after that A44. In the meantime, one of the enemy tanks has actually started base cap, and even though all those heavies are on the hill, none of them can spot the base. Now this is an encounter battle. Let me get away from the mic a little bit so I'm not overloading you guys with noise. The problem with encounter battles that a lot of people don't seem to understand, especially artillery players, is that it takes a really long time to cap a base. It takes 3 minutes. And most people would say, well, no, that's not that bad. No, that's a really, really long time. Which means that even if you have 3 people on it, it takes a minute. And it might even be longer than that, I'm not sure. We'll find out as soon as it hits 50, I'll just double the time. But I think it's going to be 145. Nope, that's 45, 46. Okay, so a minute 40, so that's 100 seconds. So it's 200 seconds is what it takes to cap. So it takes twice as long to cap an encounter neutral cap than it does to do a standard battle a cap. 200 seconds is a long time, right? That's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That's basically forever. So if you see someone capping on an encounter and it's barely going up, you have a ton of time. And even if you have 3 people on cap, it's still going to take over a minute to cap out, right? 200 divided by 3 is 600 or is 66 and some change. So that's over a minute with 3 people on cap. And you can clearly see when there's 3 people on cap, even without mods like XVM, which I'm currently running. So if the cap, I guess my point is if the cap is on less than 50 during an encounter, there's really no reason to rush over and try to reset. Because that's just going to get you killed. And Artie really wanted the Type 64 to do it, but instead, Metroxity played it smart. He played the middle, he took out that A44, he got spots on the Cromwell, he allowed this 1-2 line to push through, then went over, spotted the Churchill 7 who was capping, so artillery was able to take him out. And that right there broke the back of the team. And you'll notice now it's 7-4. And that Borsig, I don't know what that Borsig was doing back there, but he's been mostly useless all game. He's got 1 kill. I don't know on what. But being in that corner isn't very useful for a TD, especially one as powerful as the Borsig. So he's going to go back. A44 is going to try and dodge. Gets hit by Artie, gets shot. That Borsig takes out the KV-85, who's going over a hill, and then dies. So we got 2 kills. Congratulations. But didn't help his team win. Now there's still a chance that they could lose. They're only up 8-5. But you'll notice that 110 is low health. The AMX M445 is low health. They finally spotted artillery, which is good. And then A44 is going after the Jumbo and finishes him off. Hummel finishes off the prototype before it can be killed. It looks like Vitroxity with his double broken gun. I don't know if you saw that earlier. His gun got broken twice by a Churchill 7. Manages to finish off the Hummel. Puts a shot into that that 110. Artie comes down and misses, but he gets tracked by an IS-3. That IS-3, I'm sure, wishes he could have that shot back. Only tracking a 271 hit point Type 64 when it should have been a kill. Yeah, I'd want that gun back too. And he's out of rounds, so he's down to just premium. Let's make it count. That was an expensive artillery kill. Tank so short, it'll actually die here. And right at this point, the replay decides, you know what? I don't feel like following the tank. Looked like the Borsig was engaged in the IS-3. Was killed by the IS-3. FE-304 gets the final kill, and the M44 kills himself. So, a pretty good battle. Vitroxity actually ended up with about 2,300 damage and something like 3,000 spotting. So he did a really good job. I'm guessing he has coded optics and probably situational awareness would be my guess to increase that view range without binoculars. All in all, though, a really, really good game. Showed a lot of patience, understanding of the game mechanics, didn't panic when, unlike the artillery, didn't panic when the cap was on, which is fine. Yeah, it was really, really good, solid battle. Ace tanker, phenomenal. Maybe a patrol. I think there was a patrol duty in there too. All right, so we talked enough about this. We talked about how I don't really like the map. Now it's time for our epic game of the day, which I really need a fanfare for. I just have to figure out how to integrate music cues into OBS so I can do it if I ever decide to do it live or figure out some sort of soundboard. Anyway, it's epic game of the day time. So let me get that set up and I could talk about it. I could talk about it a lot, but I'm not going to, because with all epic games, the best way to view them is firsthand. So, as soon as it loads up, we're going to hop over. This game is a standard battle on steps from another NA player by the name of the Django. And in this case, he's platooned up with 2 of his friends from ELEV, one in a KV-5, and the other in an FCM 50-ton. Should be interesting. Let's hop over. So, again, we're going to skip through this intro bit because no one likes to watch a countdown clock. We have a barely tier 9 battle. And here we go. So Django in his superior fast tank is going to head off to the right and see if he can spot some of the enemy mediums as they come forward. And we'll see what he can spot over here. These openings are always really interesting. Sometimes the games can be made, won or lost by just opening movements by things like scout tanks. I don't know what the enemy E75 is talking about, but that's okay. What is he spotted? A Centurion 1 and a T-37, but he's spotted in return. Now you'll notice that this particular player is running a large repair kit, a large first aid kit, and automatic fire extinguishers. I guess if you've got the income to support all that, go for it. And certainly if you play enough, I mean, the Django does have 24,000 battles, and he's quite a good player. He probably makes enough money in all of his tiers to support running as many premium consumables as he wants. Personally, I don't see the need, but to each his own. So after spotting that flank and understanding that he's not going to be able to have a massive amount of effectiveness on that particular flank, he's actually going to move over to the western flank, down the 1-2 line, and make a play over here. Now, this is something that I really like, and I've actually found, I've found an extreme amount of advantage by taking a position such as what he's going to take right now in my AMX-12T and even my 1375, which is that right here you actually can get shots on tanks who are so preoccupied by shooting the enemy directly in front of them that they don't even bother looking at you. And if they do, because of the angle at which you're engaging, you can actually get out of their gun range very, very easily. So instead, he put a couple of shots into the E75, and now he's picking apart this Bulldog, who's finally deciding to leave. He's going to change targets, bounce one off the E75. The Bulldog is moving, so he's going to try and shoot. Gets a high roll. Down goes the Bulldog. There's an E75 who's taking some hits, takes a 500 damage hit from... it's probably the enemy E75. Let me look. Yeah, the enemy E75, and now he's going to pick apart this Jag Tiger 88. Always good to see. Oh, doesn't quite get the roll. 1 damage left. Finally takes him out. Takes a big hit that breaks his ammo rack from that super purging. It has to burn that large repair kit. It's a bummer. But he's up against the Tiger. So let's see how many bullets he can put in the Tiger. Puts 1 in. Puts another 1 in. Tiger takes a big hit, 447. It's got to be from that E75 again, because the KV5 doesn't have that kind of output. And then it gets finished off by the Type 64. What's left on this flank? The Super Pershing. Now we'll notice that the other flank has actually been swept pretty hard, but there is an STI and a T-30 over there defending. And those are 2 tanks that can both take a lot of punishment due to their armor values and deal a ton of punishment thanks to their guns. So unless they get completely outplayed, they'll probably be okay. Down to his artillery, to the Tier 9 Centurion 7-1. He's going to put some shells on that Studer Emil and bounces one, which is something you don't see every day. I think I've seen paper bounce more shells than the armor on the Studer Emil. But he manages to bounce one from that 64 at long, long range. Now, the first time I watched this, I really didn't like this play. These long-range engagements can be a big problem. We talked about at the beginning of the show that the low ammo count on this tank mean that if you're on a roll, or if you need to do an absolute ton of damage, you can't afford to miss any shells, because you just don't have enough bullets. And the Django has been pretty liberal with his rounds, but now he's down to just 13. And there's still a lot of tanks. There's still 6 tanks on the map. So he's got to be careful with his ammunition. Every shot that he takes that he misses could be the game. Very well could be the game. So with 13 rounds remaining, a full health T-34 and what looked like a full health IS-6. And the other ones aren't in render range yet. We'll see they pop up. That blasted T-37 finally goes down to a KV-5. So he took a shot at I'm not sure what. I missed that one, but he's down to 12 rounds. 2,640 damage plus whatever spotting he's done. Versus a 451 health Centurion 1 And I'm not sure the other tank. Let's see. AMX 5120. So there's the 5120 at 1200 health. That is just about as much damage as he could possibly do if he needed to. There's that blasted Sturder Emil. It gets taken out by the T-44. That's good. 451 damage, Centurion 1. He's at 322. Now, I can't remember the alpha on the Centurion, but I'm pretty sure it's right around 300. Which means if that Centurion manages to land a good shot on this Type 64, he could be dead. Just right, outright. And that 5120 certainly has enough alpha, regardless of the gun he has, to kill them outright. So he's got to make sure his shots are true. Puts 2 rounds at the Centurion and manages to land just one of them. Bounces one off that 5120. Misses another one. Down to just 7 rounds. It's about 700 damage. UD-75 is getting circled. He bounces one. 5120 is reloaded. Puts another one in. Puts another one in. And kills it. 3 rounds left is all he has, but he saves the E-75's life. Centurion comes in, low rolls. 53 hit points. He can't take a ram. His armor probably isn't good enough. Manages to dodge. Puts 2 shells in. He's got 1 bullet left. Can he do it? And he does. Centurion 1 down. He's at 5 kills. 3,503 damage, plus anything else he's done in the blind, plus spotting. There's a juicy, juicy T-34 who hasn't taken any damage. Look at that. Look at those stats on that T-34. 71,000 battles for Carlitos Way from Villain. He's doing his best. Oh, not full health. 543. Easy prey for a Type 64. Except a Type 64 needs ammunition. And he doesn't have any. So let's see what he does to finish up the game. He's got a couple of options. He can just go in and mess around and die, which is one option. He can keep him spotted so that his E-75 and KV-5 friends can finish him off. He can cap, or he can go hide in a corner. Which one do you guys think he's going to do? I'll wait a bit and let you guys make your decision. Alright, have you made your decision? I hope so, because I'm going to tell you what he does next. He keeps him spotted. And this is a really good decision. Now, he could theoretically put cap pressure on. The problem is that that T-34 has taken a very strong position behind that railroad track where only his turret is being exposed, which means you have to shoot for that cupola weak spot. And because of that, and the fact that the cap circle is extremely open, and he's only at 53 hit points, and the T-34 does 400 alpha, that's basically a dead Type 64. Now, I watch this time and time again, and I go, oh God, if only you had ammunition. All those shots you wasted that you bounced. You could easily kill the T-34 by now, because you would have the 3, 4, 5 rounds required to put the hurt in. In the meantime, that E-75 has rolled the corner, puts a great hit into the T-34, rolls a little low, like about just under 500. It was about 470. The E-75 gets the reload and gets the final kill. So the Django ends up pulling out a win with 5 kills and 3,500 damage. Great game. Phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal. I wish that he'd been a little more conservative with his ammunition, but he made it work. He kept him spotted. And the E-75 finally showed up and he got the kill. Great, great plays. And great decision making. I really like how he started off on one flank, did what he could with the spotting, understood that he really didn't have the tank to kind of go toe-to-toe with the mediums that were going to be over there, and instead moved into a position where he could do an absolute ton of damage. And he shoots at the E-75, and he rips apart that Jagdtiger 88, and he kills the Walker Bulldog, and he manages to put some hurt on a Super Pershing and a Tiger 1, before then returning all the way back to base to defend cap against that 5120, saving the E-75, who in the end rolls around and eventually kills the T-34. Just a great game. Phenomenal. I love games like that. Like I said, epic game of the day. All right, guys, that's it for me this week. As you know, 3 shows, 3 days. I don't have the tank list up for next week. I could look it up, but it's not actually set in stone yet, so we'll see. I'm not sure. We'll see. But next week will be good. You know what? Why don't I look it up real quick? Let me see. Let me find it as soon as it loads. Sometimes computers take a little while. All right, tank list. So it looks like next week is the IS-7 Tier 10 Russian heavy tank. Definitely something to be feared. Great armor, great gun, just a great all-around tank. Looks like also the AT-15A, which just recently got a buff in 9.4. That's the Tier 7 British premium tank destroyer. And it got a massive buff, actually. It got a hit point buff and I think a rate of fire buff. So really big buff in 9.4. And then after that is the SU-100Y, another premium tank. Looks like we're really top loading on premium tanks here. It's just how it happened to be randomized. The SU-100Y is sometimes known as the box tank. It's the Tier 6 Russian tank destroyer, premium tank destroyer. Great gun on it. Armor's not fantastic, but what do you need armor for when you're at Tier 6 with 175 penetration and 390 damage? You don't need armor. You just kill everything you see. So that's our lineup for next week. Should be pretty good. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. So, like I said, the M41 Walker Bulldog will go out today. And then this one will go out too, so they'll be right about the same time. And they'll both be uploaded in the playlist if you're looking at that. As always, if you're watching, please, please, please leave me a comment in below if you like what you see. If you want to see more, don't be afraid to subscribe and like the video. I definitely appreciate it when I get feedback like that. I've got a couple of people who've given me feedback, and I really, really appreciate it. So any feedback I can get from you guys would be awesome. I'll see you guys later, and happy tanking. Bye.